Hey everybody, welcome back. It's your buddy Trandel. Just wanted to get a really quick video out there about space crabs. One of my absolute favorite weapon mods in the game, and one that I think is really underrepresented and undervalued, to be honest. I think it's an amazing mod. It has some absolutely fantastic mechanic interactions that I want to talk about, and that I have talked about before, but there's a couple things I think really get looked over, and I really want to get this video out to help spread, the love of my space crabs. So, space crabs, what are they? Let's get a quick baseline now, right? So, space crabs are a weapon mod. They're a basic weapon mod. So, it's not like something that's baked into a weapon that's locked in and you can't take off of that weapon. So, there's a lot. You can basically put this on any basic weapon that has an open weapon mod. Space crabs launch an alien egg that burst on impact, releasing five space crabs. Crabs follow the caster. That's a key point I want to get out there, leaping towards enemies within 4 meters. And another key point, exploding, dealing 180 damage each. Last point, the really low mod power requirements, only 450, so it doesn't take much to get these guys up and running. So those are our 3 main talking points that I want to go over. The first two, the following the caster. We've talked about this before. Space crabs are considered summons and minions for a lot of game mechanics. The second one that we've also talked about before is the exploding. Space crabs are considered explosion damage, so they will also interact and gain the benefits of anything that interacts with explosion damage. We've talked about that before too. Common thing that we've already talked about is the detonation trigger. Increases explosion damage by 25%. Explosions apply burning damage over 5 seconds. This one we've already talked about in my fiery hell crabs build. Basically allows the space crabs to double dip. So they're going to get a boost to the explosion damage, and they're going to apply that burning debuff. Fantastic. Like I said, we've already talked about them before. Something else we've already talked about before, but I also want to go over real fast, is their interactions with summoning mechanics. So, like in my previous videos and streams, I have Soul Guard. Soul Guard, you gain a stack of Bulwark for each active summon. TLDR, Bulwark is a defensive buff. It gives you 5% damage reduction per stack, capped up at 25% for 5 stacks, okay? Now, I already have 1 stack with my doggo here, right? Good boy. The moment I pop the space crabs, though, as you notice, it automatically gives me those full 5 stacks. So, that right there is a nice little piece of utility that you can keep in your back pocket, right? If you're being swarmed by a bunch of mobs, or there's an elite, or you're fighting an aberration, or a boss, and you know you're getting ready to, take a big hit, let's go ahead and pop these up. And see, this is the other thing I was talking about. With only 1 clip, I already have, 1 crab ready and 1 almost ready, right? So like I said, it's really a low bar to get these guys up and running. So let's say you're getting swarmed, there's an elite, an aberration, you got a boss hit coming in. Pop some space crabs. And since it's so easy to get them up, I mean, there you go. The proof is in the pudding right there. I was basically at bulwark cap or close to bulwark cap that whole interaction. Because again, if you have a weapon with a high enough attack speed and a big enough clip, you can just keep refreshing those space crabs non-stop. So again, it gives you a really nice utility to have in your back pocket for when you need it. So that's the first interaction outside of the explosion that I wanted to talk about. Again, we've already talked about summoning mechanics and their interactions with space crabs before. The other one I really want to get out there too is this bad boy right here, Soul Anchor. Summoning increases all damage by 20% for 30 seconds. You know, weapon damage, physical damage, elemental damage, weapon mod damage, skill damage, everything across the board, all damage by 20% for 30 seconds, which is absolutely amazing, and one of the other reasons why I think the space crabs really, really shine. So you don't have to necessarily depend on or just use the detonation trigger to get some really big numbers out of these guys and just really big damage increases across the board, because again, it's all damage. Now, with the Soul Anchor, it requires an active summoning to get that benefit. Unfortunately, we have the doggo all the time, which is amazing, but it means we don't get that, you know, buff from the Soul Anchor. And with other archetypes like the Summoner, yeah, we get that buff when we first summon our guys, and we can kind of stagger it if we want, you know, summon one, use it for a little bit, you know, and then once we start getting low, summon it again if you have 2 summons available. If you're using the big beefy tank boy, then yeah, you only get that one buff. Same thing with something like the Engineer, right? You will get that buff when you first put down your turret, but it's only for the first initial summon. So, you know, unless we want to, you know, sacrifice our minions, put, you know, and then bring them back up, or unless we want to, you know, take down our turret, you know, wait for it to gain some ammo and bring it back up, there's no other way for us to get that interaction with, get that guy, with the Soul Anchor. And again, this is where that super low 450 mod requirement really shines and comes in handy with the space crabs. It is really stupid easy. Bam! It literally only took me 4 to 5 seconds to get space crabs up. And then I send them back out. And they're refreshed again. That's how easy it is to get your space crabs online, refill their mod power requirement, and get them out again. You can basically keep the buff for Soul Anchor up and running indefinitely. So that's a 20% increase to all your damage that you will basically have all the time. And I think that's an absolutely overpowered and, again, completely underappreciated mechanic that I think just needs to be talked about more. And one of a lot of different reasons that we just talked about why I love the spacecraft so much. And just one last thing, just to get it out there that we've talked about before, is the utility. Again, what's one of the things that space crabs do? Crabs follow the caster, leaping towards enemies within 4 meters, right? It's fire and forget. You do not need clear line of sight. You do not need to line it up and hope you actually hit something. You fire it, the space crabs take care of the rest. And there's a lot of different utility that you can get from this. Let's say you got a room full of enemies up here, right? And you want to clear them out, but you might only have clear line of sight on one of them, right? Well, you throw up some space crabs in there and they take care of the rest. Let's say you know you have enemies, you know, ducking and diving in and out of cover, taking pot shots at you. Throw in some enemies, you know, throw in some space crabs, they'll take care of the rest. It's really, again, you fire and forget it. Outside of that guy, but any enemies that were in this room, outside of the tankiest elites or like apparitions and stuff like that, you throw up 2 space crab eggs, oh, they're done. They're gonzo. Your space crabs are going to clear out that room. By the time you get up the stairs, all you need to do is pick up your loot. So, again, there's multiple levels of utility that you can get from the space crabs. You get damage. You get debuffs that you can put on enemies. You get defensive utility. You get that bulwark buff from them. You get the fact that you can use your space crabs to clear out rooms and sections that you don't have clear line of sight on. And not only that, but I'm pretty sure they also interact with Soul Link. I'm not 100%, but I definitely have noticed a sizable increase in my sustain and my survivability when I have Soul Link on. So I'm pretty sure that the damage the space crabs are doing also will interact with the summoning lifesteal from Soul Link too. And there you go. Space crabs, completely underrated in my opinion, and I'm hoping more people will start looking into them, because I think they can 100% find a home in a lot of different builds and, you know, play styles. So, wanted to get a quick video out there. As always, I hope everybody's having a beautiful weekend. Please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll hang out again soon. Take it easy, everybody.